What we're going to try to do as we continue to build this example is to add another constructor over here. But before we do that, let me add a few more properties so that as I'm building this example. So let's say if I add a private property over here called double, and I call it pay. So this will be the employee pay. So now I go about entering my third constructor of employee type, and this constructor will going to receive a value which will be an employee EID value, and we're going to receive double P, and then it will going to assign to employee ID the value from E and the pay a value from P. And similarly for each one of my default constructor, let's say if I want to assign pay a default value of 0, and I want to assign pay a default value of 0 over here as well. So in the first two constructors, default and the first overloaded one, so this is my default constructor, default and the first overloaded one, I have pay set to 0. In the last one, the user will going to provide a value for pay. So real quick, I will now going to have a setter and a getter for pay. So I'm going to set my pay to a double variable, and got to make some changes. And I have get pay, which will be of type double as a returning value. And here we go. So here we have created the getters and setters for my pay class right over here. Okay, so I have getter and setter for employee ID, and I have getter and setter for the pay. Now I need to utilize all this information in here. So in my last example, I showed you how to work with an employee EMP1 object and EMP2 object. So this is where I will now going to be able to set, first of all, run the same program again. However, with some changes that I would also like to get the employee ID 1 along with the pay. So that will be emp1.get pay. So it also shows me the pay. And I will going to just copy this and paste it down here. Copy this and paste it down here. And wherever I have my out statement, I'm going to just copy and paste it down there. And I'm going to run it. So now it says, well, in all cases, the pay is 0. Even when I enter an employee ID, the pay still remains to be 0 because I am not changing pay. In all cases, I'm calling the same pay constructor, which is with one parameter or no parameters. So either case, pay remains 0. So I'm going to make a little change over here. I'm going to say I would like to create an employee EMP3 where it will going to pass 2 values. So first value coming from the user, and I would like to set the pay to, let's say, 55,088 cents so that we can actually see the double value in practice. Now as I run this program, I'm going to say, okay, what is the employee ID for this last employee? I say 1, 2, 3, 4. That's the employee ID. And now I may have to, of course, I made a mistake here. This is a logical error, a very good example. As I copy paste it, I forgot to change the reference. So let me change the reference here. That's why. Okay, so now as I enter 1, 2, 3, 4, and now it shows me the pay for employee number 3. So it's extremely important that, and as I was, I ignored that and I ran into a logical error as I could see, because initially they were all supposed to be 0, so I didn't even realize that I'd copy pasted and not changed the object reference. So now that I did, I could actually see the different pay which I had passed from this line over into the body of the constructor. So this is how you can work with multiple properties of a class, where each having their getters and setters, and you can go about working in that direction. And then in the next part, we will be building on this idea by pulling out some of the information from the main and reducing the code from the main. Thank you for watching.